You get a lot of hate comments online.
Yeah,
And I'm sorry to bring that up. I know it's awkward. I get them too. Don't
it's
worry. All
okay.
right. Either someone saying,
Oh yeah,
you suck at sales, I could do it better, or salespeople are scum and you should all, purge yourselves from the
yeah.
face of the earth.
We're used to it. We're used to it.
It's just extra resilience training for our amazing levels of persistence and thick skin.
Yeah.
What do you think about those hate comments? What do you do when you see those?
Immediately I go into like defense mode and I'm like, no, I'm not like that. Or like I go to type something and I'm like, I need to take a step back because I feel like the hate comments are more of like, I look at it, people are talking about you, like there's a buzz. People that are being negative create conversation for other people to join in, and like that conversation and like that activity that's like going on your post, at the end of the day, like they're only helping push your posts out. So I'm like, a good conversation, a good debate doesn't hurt anybody. And like when I see that go on in the comments, it like sometimes people do bring up good points, or like they do give me like really good feedback that I could learn from. But like then of course there's like those really stupid ones that are just like, you have no idea what you're saying, you're just being a hateful person and like you're making no sense. So you have to really like ignore those, but it's really hard. It's really hard to ignore them. I'm sure you get it too.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I used to come back and like clap back at these people and be like, yeah, whatever. But then I realized I was like feeding into negative was making me really sad and a bitter person as well. So now I just often ask them like a question, like
Yeah.
if someone says, salespeople are scum, cold calling is the worst, don't you dare cold call me. I'm like, what would you do instead? And they're like, don't cold call all. And I'm like, okay, so there you go. You've just outed yourself as someone who obviously doesn't understand like
Yeah.
the basics of how business and a lot of companies work, right?
Yeah.
So oftentimes just like asking them a question, either they come back with something that's actually good and I can learn from, like you said, or they just out themselves as a complete maniac. A lot of people think LinkedIn people are nut jobs who aren't very good.
Some of them are.
There's some crazy shit on LinkedIn. I saw someone say, like, here are the leadership lessons we could learn from Adolf Hitler the other day. And I was like, what the
Yeah.
heck am I reading
Yeah.
right now?
I saw something the other day and it was like how you could compare sales to a tampon. And they I like sent it to everyone I knew. I was like, is this a Oops, sorry. Yeah, it was like number one, like soak in all the education that you can. And
Oh, okay.
Stop.
I think I clocked out for the day.
Make it end. Yeah, let's just log out, delete LinkedIn profile forever. That's.
I think I did take a walk actually. I was like, I'm literally done.
Sarah, I'm gonna get real with you right now. Okay, I'm gonna come right at you.
Okay.
A lot of people online in your comment sections sometimes claim that your cold calls are fake. Are you faking them?
No, not at all. I record pretty much everything. That takes about like an hour to an hour and a half, just because a 2-minute clip doesn't show the 40 minutes that I go without speaking to somebody. Just pick up the phone. I have my Zoom info up. I just go through LinkedIn. Like, I'm not as organized as someone with like when I used to have a strong like cadence or this or that, but
Yeah.
the fact that I call mobile numbers, I get through to a lot of people. And two, the best part about cold calling right now and why I love it so much and why it's like I feel so much more confident to record is like a lot of people I cold call like see it coming and they've seen my videos on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty much now like have a cadence on like Sales Navigator where I cold call everyone that has recently viewed my profile. So when I call them, they're like, oh, yeah, okay, like, or they actually acknowledge that they've seen my stuff on LinkedIn or that their team has watched LinkedIn. Or I've had a few people that say like, we're in our team meeting right now and we just watched your video.
I think it's funny because since I've been recording cold calls, I actually kind of like, I used to get scared about people chewing me out, and now I'm like, burn me, because it makes great content, if I'm honest. Like, sweet. Yeah. Tell me what else you hate about salespeople. Come on. Drag me through the mud here. And then it's like, sweet, viral clip right there.
Yeah, it like really switched when like people were like, oh, you're reenacting. And then I started posting like actual recordings like of my cold calls and I'd have them on speaker. Yeah, ever since I was doing those, I was like, oh, like this, I should just be recording like every session that I do. And then it's just so easy to make clips out of it because you're doing it anyways.
Yeah.
So, and they only last a few seconds, so there's really not much. Everything has been as real as it gets. Nothing changes. Like, you're always still, like, anxious in the fact that, like, you want the meeting so bad. So, like, you're just like, come on, come on, come on. I actually haven't even posted a video lately of me booking a meeting. And, like, my most recent hate comments are like, you literally don't book anything. And I'm like, well, that's been true. I haven't booked any cold calls.
No one hates themselves more than a salesperson who's underperforming, right? Anything you can say to me, I've already
Yeah.
said to myself.
Exactly. Like, especially this morning, I woke up and I looked at my fiance and I was like, I'm stressed. He's like, why? I'm like, I'm at 0. And he's like, what? Like, 0 energy? I'm like, no, sales. Like, I'm on 0. And he's like, oh, start of the quarter.
I find it's really interesting having a spouse who doesn't work in sales because there's so many things that they like don't see in their job. What does your fiance do?
We are complete opposite sides of the spectrum. He's an accountant.
My wife's an accountant as well. This is so weird. I see this like,
Really?
thing with salespeople, and especially the influencers as well. They end up like with like a very logical, smart spouse to make up for the absolute ADHD and insanity.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wow. This makes so much sense now.
What's the craziest thing that's happened to you? What's the best, craziest thing that's happened to you since you started, creating content online and doing all this?
I could probably think the first few things that come to my mind is like New York City is a very small place, despite people thinking it's a very huge place, but it's very small. No matter where I go now, like I will get recognized, which is like in the beginning, I was like, oh my God, like I'm not an influencer, which I'm still not. Like, don't deserve this. This is weird. But like everyone I've met, like that has come up to me in New York has been like so incredibly awesome and have told me that like I either inspire them to get a sales role or like helps them develop in their career. And nothing has been negative from people that have come up to me. And I think that has been probably the most rewarding feeling because I step away and I'm like, wow, maybe I am actually really making like a positive impact in the sales world. And if like that's something I can be here and do, like I want to continue doing that. And that's really what inspires me to keep making content. That's probably been the coolest thing and like the most rewarding thing and the best thing.
You gave me goosebumps there, Sarah. That is very rewarding. But we're salespeople. We don't finish off on a positive note. That's just not how we do things here.
Yeah, you're right. Let's go back down.
What's the worst thing?
The worst
about all this? What's upset you? What's hurt you?
I think just like some of the people that are just like waiting on my page to like for me to fail. So like in February, I was the first time I like got on TikTok and was like, I have a 100K target every month and I closed 25K. That's just the reality of it. And like, that's where I'm at. And then like all the comments were just like, you should be fired. Like, this is like so pathetic that people follow you, all this stuff. It turned into a positive though, because like all the comments were like, this is like as real as it gets. And like more and more people related to that video than like any other video. And I think it got close to like 1 million views, and it was just everyone in the comments like talking about like their experience and like how they also missed and like how you can't be perfect every single month and this and that. You can always turn the negatives into a positive, but now we're back up again and on a positive note. So let's go back.
Look at you. There you go. There you salespersoned it.
I know.
You objection handled it. I love that. And I think
I shit sandwiched it.
You shit sandwiched it. Exactly. Feels like one of my one-on-ones, or some therapy.
Exactly. Thanks, Will.